Lauri Markkanen and the Finnish national team slay a beast. Serbia is out. Let's take a look at some video clips and talk about it.
Battle the perimeter, and here's Jokic from the corner, rims out. Remains to be seen, Abramovich, how effective he is with that injury that he had last time out. Jantunen goes right up, and there's the putback. And yes, folks, this one goes down and one for Markkanen.
He scores in so many ways.
The rim rocker, the crusher.
Jazz Smack, NBA and Utah Jazz basketball.
So there you were, there you saw it. Lauri Markkanen with an absolutely epic follow-up in the Serbia game with the follow-up dunk. Terrific athleticism by Lauri shown there, terrific toughness, able to beat Petrusev to the ball and just get a hammer dunk at the end for an and one. Terrific play. So let's take a look at some other aspects of the previous three games with some video clips of the game from Germany and the game against Germany, and also the game against Lithuania. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the game against Serbia and how big this was for Finland basketball, for Lauri Markkanen, for the Finnish fans, for basketball in Finland as a whole. This is just a huge win for that country and for basketball in that country. Getting to the round of 16 was a huge accomplishment, but winning that round of 16 game to advance to the round of 8, especially against one of the teams that was a favorite going into EuroBasket 2025 in Serbia, it's just a monster effort by the Finnish players to get that win. So let's take a look at some video clips, specifically from the game against Germany, some really good things that took place, and also some areas where the German national team presents some problem to not only Finland but any other team that it plays. So let's take a look at some of those video clips and go from there before we talk about at the very end. We'll also look at all the shot charts from the previous three games and the box scores. So let's start it out with this first video clip from the game against Germany.
Decisive, and it's a super start by Germany. They lead at 7-2, and Markkanen just plucks it out the air. Weiss tried to go with a foul. Markkanen with a throwdown. Daniel Weiss looks at the officials and says, well, I fouled him, and the officials, but I didn't call it.
This was an obviously awesome play by Lauri. He read what Dennis Schroeder was going to do with the ball. He intercepted the ball on the defensive end of the court. He pushes the ball up on a one-man fast break to the offensive side of the court and finishes with a dunk at the end. And Franz Wagner, as good of a defensive player is, he made a really good decision in that and just bailed out on the play. He wanted no part of that. He didn't want to end up on a poster dunk by Lauri, and that was a phenomenal decision by Franz Wagner in that instance. Lauri, with his height, his athleticism, his strength, getting ahead of steam like that at the rim, you don't want any part of that, and Franz certainly didn't. Let's take a look at some after effects of that particular play.
National basketball, live streams, highlights, everything you'd want to watch, and there are a bunch of highlights across this summer. It's been a phenomenal summer of international basketball, and we're not done yet. So after the timeout, Coach Tuovi will want to...
Absolutely awesome play by Lauri. Let's take a look at some more video clips from the game with Germany.
Guarded by Bonga. Puts the pass down. Markkanen gets called up. Inside, outside. They turn the three down. Now Salin with all day can't get it to drop. And Schroeder leads the break, and they have...
Now, in this particular play, Salin didn't make the shot there, but this is exactly the shot that Salin should be taking, and he should be taking opportunistic threes. That's primarily what he should be doing on the offensive end of the court. He didn't. This one didn't happen to go in, but it was a really good shot. It was an open shot, and he needs to take those. But the thing about this play is Lauri got the ball in the paint, and he received a double team. And after that double team came, Lauri passed it out, and then the German national team was in a frenzy trying to find guys to cover on the defensive end, and Salin ended up with an open look. And again, this is what Lauri can do to help his teammates. It wasn't even a direct pass from Lauri to Salin. It would have been a hockey assist, but obviously Salin didn't make the shot. But still, the look was quality. And the attention that Germany pays to Lauri, just like the attention that NBA teams pay to Lauri, opens up opportunities for his teammates. And this was exactly the case. A really high-quality shot was the result of that soft double team by the Germans. So let's take a look at another video clip from the game against Germany.
Germany turn it over again in transition. Max Hooney thinks about it, goes inside to Markkanen. Little lean back for two is no good.
And here's an instance of this is the challenge that the Germans present to not only Finland, but any team that they play. They have really high level players. I mean, players that are not only good in FIBA, but Franz Wagner, for instance, in my opinion, is one of the best defensive players in the NBA. And he's not the only one on this German team. Theis, as you saw there, he challenged the shot with Lauri. Theis he's been playing in the NBA a long time. He's been having a nice role in the NBA for a long time. Bonga is also another player for the Germans who did a terrific job on Lauri in this game. Now we are going to talk about the game with Finland, with Lithuania, and then get back to this game with Germany in the comments after the video clips. But again, this is what Germany can do to opponents, and they got a substantial lead on Finland in this game, and Finland was not able to climb back into this game. But if these two teams meet up again later in the tournament, and I hope that's the case, I think the next outcome between these two teams is going to be different than this particular game. Let's take a look at the more video clips from this game.
From War on the glass, comes down with a defensive rebound. Markkanen gets deep. They're going to call it on the floor.
And this play is awesome because Lauri gets down the court early, and Dennis Schroeder is the only person black. Lauri gets him pinned in the paint. He seals him. He gets the ball, and they're either going to call a foul on Dennis Schroeder there early, or Lauri is going to get the basket. Those are the two outcomes, because Lauri's either going to finish right at the rim with an easy layup, or Dennis is going to foul him. There is no other outcome realistically in this scenario. And Dennis, even though he complained about the foul, being called for the foul is actually the beneficial theme for Germany in this situation. So again, Lauri's highly skilled. He's very athletic. He's really strong. And Dennis Schroeder absolutely has no chance of covering Lauri one-on-one in the paint. Let's take a look at one more clip from the game with Germany.
In and out on the three. Markkanen comes down with a defensive rebound. And Bonga fouls him mid-court, because you do not want to let him get downhill.
No, but these were the kind of hits that I feel like Markkanen was receiving the other day against Lithuania, and the refs weren't calling it though.
Yeah, and we had this conversation, didn't we?
Okay, so as you saw there, this is a play with Bonga, and Bonga has no chance of covering Lauri when Lauri's ahead of steam going forward. So he ends up fouling him, which was a good play by Bonga, but no plans. But as the announcer said there about that previous game with Lithuania, where Lithuania was just really rough with the Finnish national team, and they muddied the game up. That is what Lithuania did. And to Lithuania's credit, they kept on doing what the officiating allowed them to do. They weren't calling the fouls, so Lithuania just moved forward with the really physical play. But if there's ever such thing as a good loss, and I fully believe that game against Lithuania and actually losing that game helped Finland. It absolutely did help Finland. Going into that game, Finland had been playing physical basketball. Overall, they'd been playing physical basketball. And I thought they had been doing a good job of doing that. But then you got to Lithuania, and they experienced, they felt the next level of physicality. And that's what Lithuania did to them. They pulled and tugged and shoved and hit, grabbed. They did everything, and they just beat up Finland. And they just weren't called for those fouls. But I think Finland experiencing that, they got down by 15 in that game, and they never gave up. They climbed their way into it. They just fought and fought and fought, and they gave themselves a chance to win at the end. Lauri didn't give up. None of his teammates gave up. I mean, it was truly impressive. And, the pride that those guys played with during that game to give themselves a shot to win in the end was truly impressive. From Lauri all the way through the roster, it was truly impressive. And I think that was an important loss. And it helped with the eventual win against Serbia. You got to take some lumps, but you got to learn from it. And I think they did. I think the team did. Even though, that loss against Germany looked ugly, I think that's again, a learning experience. They know that they can't get down big against Germany. Climbing back into the game against Lithuania and climbing back against Germany are two entirely different things. Germany has a lot more talent than Lithuania, at least in this EuroBasket 2025. That's the case. And so it's a lot more difficult to climb back after getting down big against Germany than it is Lithuania. But again, those are two learning experiences, two losses that I think you can learn from and apply it to future games. And that's what I think they did against Serbia, and one of the reasons they did win. So I think there are important losses. So again, the game against Serbia, to win that game against Jokic and Petrusev and Jovic and Micic and Abramovich, I mean, these are really good players. It's a really cohesive unit. The loss of Bogdanovic to the torn hamstring certainly hurts that team. There's no doubt about it. But that's still, I mean, obviously Serbia had their sights set on winning this thing. And to be eliminated by Finland and for Finland to play well and play tough and take them out in the round of 16 is a massive accomplishment for Lauri Markkanen and Finnish basketball. And I know that the fans, that the citizens of Finland are super proud of the team to get to this point, regardless of what happens in future games. But I truly believe that this Finnish team has a really good opportunity to win that Georgia game and advance to the Final Four teams. And I fully expect if they don't win that game, it's going to be awfully competitive. And I think that Finland is going to win that game. I truly believe that Finland is going to advance and take down Georgia. So, and again, this game against Serbia, it wasn't even played in Finland like the previous games were. This game was in Riga, Latvia, and so it wasn't even in front of all the Finnish fans like those previous games were, but still, they gave an absolutely monster effort and came away with that win. Let's take a look at the shot charts from those previous three games, and also the box scores. So the shot chart for Lauri specifically against Serbia, you can see that he had a really tough game. He went 8 for 24 from the field, and that's to be expected. But again, it's not all about Lauri's points and Lauri's shot. Yeah, we want Lauri to play well. Lauri expects a lot of himself, and he expects himself to play well. I'm sure he's disappointed with the results of all 3 previous games in terms of his field goals made. But his presence on the court, his presence opens up everything for his team. Opens up so much for his teammates that even as though he's going through some struggles and the defensive focus of that other team is on Lauri specifically, his presence there just makes the offense work. And again, it's similar with the Utah Jazz. His presence with the Jazz makes that team so much better offensively, even when he's having a difficult night, because so much attention from the defense is geared toward Lauri and stopping Lauri's points. So again, it's super important for Lauri to be on the court, whether he's having a good game or a bad game, because without Lauri, things get a lot more difficult for all of his teammates. So let's look at the box score after we see that Lauri's shot chart, he only made 1 3 in this game, and a difficult night overall. But the box score itself, with Finland, you see that they shot 40% from the field, 47% from 2-point field goals, 36% from 3, and then they shot really well from the free throw line, 17 for 20, 85%. But again, down the stretch against Serbia, Lauri ended up with a lot of points simply because, he scored 29 points, but down the stretch, to Lauri's credit, it turned to a hackathon with Serbia trying to get back in the game by issuing fouls, and they end up fouling Lauri several times in a row, and Lauri made all but one of those free throws. He finished this game shooting 12 for 13 from the free throw line. So again, like I've previously talked about, I like to see Lauri get a lot of free throws. In this particular case, it was because Serbia was intentionally fouling at the end of the game. But to Lauri's credit, he knocked down those free throws, and he needed to do that. Had he missed those free throws, Serbia has an opportunity to get right back in the game. So to Lauri's credit, he made those free throws. And this game against Serbia, Finland came out, and it wasn't just Lauri making baskets. I mean, his teammates were knocking down huge shots. Little knocked down huge shots. Jantunen knocked down huge shots. And I am a huge fan of Jantunen. That's a guy who very rarely makes negative plays. He's really good. He's solid. He's smart. I'm a big fan. So it was just across the board. Again, this team knocked down shots. Salin made a couple of late threes in the second half that were huge. I mean, it was just an absolutely marvelous effort by the entire roster. Muurinen made 2 late threes that were huge. Absolutely monster efforts by the entire team. The shot chart against Germany, again, I mean, it was difficult. Lauri didn't make any threes. His baskets were right in the paint area, but this is a learning experience. This is one of those games that is just a learning experience, and hopefully there's a rematch and later in this tournament, and hopefully things go differently. And I don't think that the game is going to be this big of a spread in round 2 if there is a round 2. So again, it was a difficult game overall. It was a difficult game for Lauri. It was a difficult game for the team. But you take stuff, you take what you can from this game and apply it to future games. And that's what they did against Serbia, in my opinion. So again, just a difficult night shooting the ball. 31% from the field overall, is just it was a difficult night, and 6 for 31 from 3 against the Germans. So let's take a look at the final shot chart for Lauri against Lithuania. And he only made 1 3 in this game, and all of his other baskets, other than one wing jumper, were right in the paint. Again, Lauri didn't have a great night shooting the ball. We know that he got beat up, and like I said, the fouls just weren't called. It was obvious that the refs, the officials were just allowing them to play. But the box score overall against Lithuania, Finland shot 41% from the field, 46% on 2-point field goals, 10 for 29 on threes, and they only received 10 free throws considering the physical play. I mean, that's obviously a very low number. But again, you take your lumps, you learn from it, and you move on. And I think that's what Finland did. So again, I think this was absolutely terrific. This is the biggest win in Finnish basketball history. I mean, getting to the round of 8 in EuroBasket is a massive accomplishment, and I hope that this is an event that propels interest in basketball in Finland. I mean, yes, it's a small country, but I think they're obviously producing some really good high-level talent with Lauri. Muurinen's on the way up. I mean, they have other guys, and I think that certainly we will see more Finnish players in the NBA in future years, because obviously it is a growing sport in that country. And I couldn't be happier for Lauri. I know how much this matters to him. It's obvious. He loves playing for his country. He loves his teammates. I mean, he put the amount of effort that he's putting into it. It's as good as anything I've ever seen him do in the NBA, and he's been great. He's been one of the stars of this entire tournament, and this is a huge step forward for him going into the next NBA season with the Utah Jazz, and he's going to have a really good year with the Jazz. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about it. He's going to have a really big year, more like what that first year was rather than the previous two. So again, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Finland basketball, Finnish basketball, big fan of Lauri, and I think they're going to take Georgia down, and I think they're going to get to the Final Four. So let's see what happens. But anyway, thanks for following along. For those watching on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. You can also follow us on X at JazzSmack. And we will talk to everybody later, and we will certainly be talking more Finnish basketball.